start to look a bit diveable for them. Though ultimately, it's definitely a lane that's in Irrelevant's favor if he doesn't give Cabochard the few seconds he needs to turn it around.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Misfits Premier 5-4 up against a Karmine Corp. That is also 5-4 as both teams tried to climb back to the top of the standings. This is an absolute classic matchup that we have in the LFL over the years. And once again, they'll go toe-to-toe. It was KC that did find the first win, and Seiken with the distortion over the wall is going to come through, and they almost get the ward, but not able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're feeling them out, but this is a very unlikely to turn into a level 1 invade unless they were to drag Cabochard down. Cabo, though, is just going to start in lane. He's fishing for the Gangplank before the first wave arrives. Gangplank with Grasp of the Undying. He's just going to be spamming his Q on Lee every time Lee tries to go up to farm. If Lee could find something level 1 there, then maybe that wouldn't be the case, but no, he ultimately doesn't find it. He doesn't have the threat. We'll see how this lane goes. 1-1-3 moving towards that top side indicates to me that Cabochard definitely wants to try to make this lane as volatile as possible. Irrelevant can't just trade on auto over and over and over again, knowing his jungler is going top to bottom.
Already both top winners going for it, seeing exactly what they could do. Cabo's going to be in a weird spot here, does have to walk up if he wants to CS, and Irrelevant will continue to poke him out here and just see if he can try to punish him for that potential top gank that you're already alluding to here for us. But a lot of the early wards will be able to at least spot out 1-1-3, especially when he comes over to his Raptors. If he decides to do them at least right away, should also catch him if he tries the path to his red buff, which will be crucial information here for Shayak, as well as Irrelevant, who is already kind of getting poked out just a tad bit here for us. But there's the pings, 1-1-3, skipping over his top camps, trying to get something done, but Shayak knows he's just going to hover down to the bot side.
I mean, this HP and this mana is a little bit fake because there were actually 4 pots available on him. He had 3 on his corrupting pot and he had 1 on his biscuits. But the wave position is very crucial here. This was actually turning into a slow push. You can see Lee going very aggressive. He doesn't really win this trade unless your jungler is here because of the pot dynamic. They are going for that early dive, but will this actually work though?
Oh,
he
damage.
has his pots. He even has flash. The damage is coming out, but it's gonna be an outplay. 1-1-3 is lucky that he didn't go for the last hit there, because if he actually connected, he would also be dead here. Irrelevant trading 1-for-1. Both top laners will burn their teleports. Irrelevant loses a little bit to the tower here. Well played though, and well executed by Cabochard, and well executed by Irrelevant as well.
Yes.
Good attempt by Karmine Corp. 1-1-3 ultimately though falls very far behind for this attempt. This was all about unlocking Cabochard, unlocking his side lanes, and why not? I remember distinctly this Cabochard Lee Sin in last season's EU Masters. It did some monstrous plays in the late game 5v5s that you just wouldn't expect from Lee in those compositions. So why not, if we're going to play sacrificial, play towards him?
Tink's just going to be now setting up the recall in the bot lane. Early trading already forsaken. He'll try to punish out where he can, and nice connect on the chains. The Shayak's going to just probably wait back, wait for this wave to shove into him, so he's going to be able to safely clear it. This is kind of what we expect from Seiken in the mid lane here for us, but we at least go back to the bot lane. So far, early CS lead for Woolite. I was definitely criticizing Woolite for not having strong laning phases in the early weeks for us. Doing a lot better up over top of Reckless at the moment, and as you talk about it, Tinks is on his way up to top, but it is being matched.
It's LeBlanc and it's Xin Zhao. You could already see on the wave there that Gangplank would be in this position. That's why Sarkin burned his pots for the trade on mid.
Irrelevant will go down. We'll see if it will be a second. Tinks is left all alone. Can he get a trade? No, we cannot. 1-1-3 holds on to his life, and a nice roam comes into the top lane from Seiken.
Yeah, Tinks is there to match, but it's a 3 versus 2. LeBlanc was able to unlock herself, not as early as Aurelion Sol does, and she had to trade more resources to do it, but she was able to do so as a fight begins on bot lane.
Yep, a lot of poke. Ignite comes down, and Nuntera will be able to at least live and will survive. Heal still available for Reckless as well. Didn't have to opt into going for the cleanse, or decided not to, but now we'll take another look here at the replay in the top lane.
Yeah. So you can see here, Irrelevant has almost no choice but to be up here on that wave. That's why Tinks moves up to escort, but there are 3 people here on top side, so ultimately he's not even able to trade a kill. It's just a much tighter grouping from K-Corp there, building off of that initial cheesy dive that they did. They've translated it into a very good map state for themselves and a very good lead on top side. It's a Cabochard lead, but it's a team effort overall.
It sure is, and now Cabo could look to punish a little more. He has that flash up. Irrelevant still having his down after the dive. So something to keep an eye on once the level 6 in the ultimate comes through here for him. Bot lane, Vander going to try to pull the wave, but he's not going to be able to pull all of it. And now Reset's going to come through here for the KC bot lane. Huntera might be looking to move mid, but 113, he has an angle, looking for the change. Shayak is going to flash. Can't dodge the second one, but there's not enough damage. And now he responds with the Chaos Storm. He will be able to slip away, but does have to utilize the flash to escape.
Similar situation here. Kind of curious to me that Shayak moved towards the bot side of the map when he has top side warded and knows that that is safe for him to move towards. I think he was just trying to give Tinks maybe an angle to go in and was unaware that this was another 3-man grouping on the midsection that he was having to contend with. Jinx, though, getting 3 plates on bot side because Huntera went to back up that midsection play, and they can be very, very comfortable with that. Look at the leads that is happening on bot lane. All the action has been top side and midsection, none of the actions being bot side, and while the attention's being dragged away from them, we're seeing Misfits get a lot just from some fake pressure there, or moreover, the knowledge, right, that K-Corp have that they can't do anything too aggressive on bot side.
Banner pops into the mid lane here, knows that Woolite will be safe with the help of Tinks behind him, but while this happens, 113 going to do a bit of invading into the top side. Huntera roams all the way up, so they are very much playing around Cabochard, and now could they set up another dive here? I think Irrelevant knows something's up. Too many members missing on the map, and he's going to back all the way up from the wave.
I mean, Irrelevant's behind from this, but not too behind. Meanwhile, Reckless is again in a situation where he'll only get waves if Woolite were to let him. He knows that Jarvan was bot side. He has no idea where Fresh was, though actually I think he might have seen him on a ward around bot side, so he can't do anything. Whether he gets CS or not is purely at the mercy of Misfits.
No flash.
So he's been denied much more than Irrelevant has.
The Zenith Blade, beautifully done here from Huntera. Irrelevant is going to inevitably fall again. 3rd death here before 8 minutes, and now Cabochard gets to take all the free plates in the world.
Yep, so this puts him a full wave behind and on a bad wave state on the next wave as well. This could turn into a 2-wave deficit for the Gangplank, but Jinx thinks 2-wave deficit, that's nothing compared to what I've been getting. And this whole time, Reckless is playing almost entirely alone, and as far as he knows, all the pressure is on his side. We'll see if that changes if these guys decide to contest Herald, but I doubt that they do, given the priority that mid and top have on this contest. No, he's going for the steal.
Tinks tries to go in, can't get out with the steal, but is able to at least get the safety here from Vander. So now Rift Herald going to be controlled. Cabochard still waiting in the brush. Irrelevant does have his flash up. Doesn't have access to the cannon barrage, but he might not even need it, as it's going to be the kick flash. Beautifully done. Irrelevant, he's most certainly going down again.
I mean, they call him Irrelevant, but currently the entire game is pivoted around his lane, so take from that what you will. Once again, he made the mistake of thinking he was allowed to play League of Legends. K-Corp say, no, that's not how this game is going to work, alright? And now he's just back in the base, relating more to Reckless than he has perhaps ever related in his entire life. But Cabochard, he gets the advantage. Interesting, they didn't just drop the Herald there the way they've been playing this game. I figured you'd want to unlock that lead on Cabochard as fast as possible. They'd be fine giving him the plates. Maybe they're considering dropping it mid, or maybe they're considering giving that economy over to Reckless, who would sorely need it, given what's being traded the whole game.
Well, based off of everything that's happened top lane, a lot now on Woolite to see if he can maybe be the big carry here for Misfits Premier. He has a massive CS lead. Like, it's not too often that we see Reckless down this much, but that's also due to a lot of things you're pointing out. 113 is playing to top. Huntera's also been out of lane quite a bit here. So Reckless has kind of just had to fend for himself, and he's making the best of it. But 30 CS down, I think that's 3 tower plates that have gone over, the majority of them solo here for Woolite. So he's definitely getting stronger. He's going to take it back. He's going to pull off this reset here and come back to lane. He's going to be very much stronger here over top of Vander. I think he accidentally took the Lantern because he went back for his Gale Force. So So now he has his first item completed at 10 minutes and will be that much more difficult to deal with here.
That might drop him a minion or two, but ultimately, yes. Like whereas the roles are bot lane and support, that nothing in the fine print says that you have to be the support of bot lane. And Hantera has been joining in with these map plays. The only play that he really had on bot lane was that slight engage into Vander and Woodlight that caused a recall from him. But otherwise, he's being mid and roaming top as well. He's being instrumental in a lot of these. The whole game is based around Cabochard for K-Corp. Would you feel more comfortable it being based around the Lee Sin rather than based around the Jinx, though? I actually think, odds on, most teams would prefer their Jinx to be ahead. So it's about how Woodlight will play these. If Woodlight can play these out well, then this could work out better overall for Misfits in these fights. And they're feeling out on 1-3 but won't find it. Woodlight not letting Hantera get the engage that he really wants.
Yeah, full 3-on-3 here in the bot side, both junglers waiting for something to potentially break out if it does. Sagan with the blue buff, no problem here clearing out mid. Might also look to roam down. Not too many wards in the river right now for the side of Misfits, so there would be an angle if you can make your way on in, but it looks like resets are coming through. Now a different game plan here for the side of KC as they're going to move 1-1-3 and Hantera back to mid. They already cleared a lot of this vision beforehand, so Shayak with the flash could be in a bit of trouble. 1-1-3 might just walk up and drop the Rift Herald here there as well, but won't be able to find the wind becomes lightning. Shayak with a nice sidestep, and 1-1-3 not interested in using that Rift here just yet.
The Sarkin will be available for this, and now instead of going all on top side, they're dividing 2 people to bottom, 1 person to top, so Reckless is not alone on this particular wave. He won't be denied as much. He can trade back. We'll see if they get anything from this. It looks like they're going to land on both side lanes
DB,
now.
it's coming in. Tinks is here in response. Can they turn this one around? Cataclysm catches both, and Shayak with the ultimate will be able to set up Tinks for the double. Nice response play. 2 for 1 here for Misfits.
Great. That was brilliant. Misfits could not have asked for that to go much better, except for maybe Victor getting both of the kills. But the silent victors of that are Misfits. Ooh, almost spoke too soon there. Are Misfits again. They denied the LeBlanc and the Leona play on bot side. Played safe. You would have expected maybe that response play from Tinks would just lead to more deaths on bot, but it didn't because of the safe play by Woodlight and Vander. So that was a team effort to get a small advantage there for Misfits Premier. They do have a really good scaling composition, though. It depends on whether Cabochard can find his angles in there, get into this Jinx Victor or not. And if he does, then they're basically dead on sight.
I'm sure Irrelevant's probably feeling a little better after that too, after the punishment this man has been taking throughout the early stages of this game. Sees his teammates finally acknowledge the top lane and allow them to at least get some of these shutdowns. And while all this is happening, just a sliver of HP is left on this tower here that Misfits are likely to be able to make a move on, but not before KC capitalize on a dragon. It looks like it should be up for grabs. Hantera's here. Saken has the mid lane priority first, so this will absolutely be a dragon to tie up the count here at 1 apiece.
I'm really interested in the Soul. The Soul is Cloud. Okay, there was a 50-50 that it would be Cloud. Cloud would be a massive Soul for K-Corp's composition. That gives Lee Sin so much more freedom to do the dives that he wants to do, and it benefits Aphelios as well. So we can see Drake becoming a hotly contested pick later. Something might break out, but I think ultimately both teams will retreat. It's a dive potential for K-Corp, but only on 3 minions. That's too thin for them. But I think they're going to just try to unlock Sarkin again and then see if they can make an opportunity on either side lane. This is the most breathing room I think Gangplank's got all game.
Yeah, it sure is. Mid lane though, Shayak not able to breathe a whole lot right now. Does have access to the flash still, and will he be under fire? He sure will. Flashes over the wall. 1-1-3 doesn't have flash to follow. And Saken not having the distortions up here can't close the distance in time. But while this happens, first tower will be taken here for Misfits. All of that gold being funneled into this Jinx. It's getting stronger and stronger and is scaling into the late game. But is Irrelevant going to be okay? 1-1-3 is going to go back onto him for a second. He is going to be in trouble again. 1-1-3 is going to take another tower shot here and will drop Irrelevant. 1v3 outplay. The ultimate comes through with the Jinx, but not enough to find a second.
Okay, but it's more than Irrelevant's been getting for the rest of the game. He managed to actually trade kills here. My god, I feel sorry for this guy. But no one on Misfits has been allowed to just play one-on-one League of Legends. Tinks somewhat baiting Cabochard here. Vander is there just in case Tinks decides that he can't deal with it. He will ultimately be safe, and Cabochard is forced to stay for another wave.
This will mean, though, that the Rift Herald could end up going over to Misfits. You've just rotated your AD carry over, and I think the play will probably be KC say, okay, you get the Rift, we'll make a cross-map play here on the bot lane tower. But Cabochard is feeling a little saucy in the top lane at the moment. He knows that there's multiple players here on the Rift. I think now realizes, all right, I'm going to back up. I got some vision down, and we'll go and play his life, but the Rift will be secured here from Tinks.
He has W and Flash. It's kind of absurd how safe Lee Sin is, no more that I think about it, and there isn't point-and-click CC available on the side of Misfits in any of these setups. We're basically dependent on Vander, we're dependent on knockups on Tinks. Otherwise, we're dependent on Lee Sin himself misjudging his timings to go in. And the timing on the windows and the groupings are very brief, unless you get this guy to the point where he's just one-shotting people like an assassin. And that is a possibility with the amount of priority they've had. It's amazing how little any of the members of Misfits have been allowed to play a one-on-one game of League of Legends, a laning phase at all. That hasn't existed ever since the initial cheesy parving that 113 did on the top side. They've taken that and they've snowballed it perpetually. There have been victims on the side of K-Corp for that. Reckless doesn't get any economy this game, but Sarkin and Cabochard, two guys who need to be able to make their small windows count, they've gotten all of the advantages from this, and I ultimately think that's a good strategy from them. Be interested to see if it pays off. Reminds me a lot of the old Vitality lineup that Cabochard himself was a part of.
And we do apologize here, ladies and gentlemen, just the feed that we're currently getting. And we'll have to see our pretty faces here for a very quick second as we talk about the game. But a lot of plays right now up into the top lane here from the side of KC. Cabochard has 6 of the 7 kill participation here in his favor. And now as we transition back, Cabochard is going to try to see if he can keep this going and potentially threaten this tier 1 in the top lane. But Woolite is also on his way up here very shortly as we come back to us again. Hello.
Hello, what's up? Yeah, no, but this actually does remind me a lot of the old Vitality lineup with Jizuke and eventually with Cabochard himself on that lineup as well.
Right.
They played these kinds of games in regular season. They're very good strategies in best of 1 scenarios. It's difficult to adapt to this if there isn't another game to repeat the early game into, right? So if you catch them off guard with this stuff like the Aurelian Soul, that can get you on waves before 3. With this Lee Sin and the Xin Zhao early parving, that can get you before the 3rd wave. You can't adapt to it like you can in a best of 5 series, and I think Cabochard's taken that principle, put that in with his team. He's obviously the focal point for us in this draft, but he's the guy that has personal experience of this kind of play style as well. It's great in regular season, and it can be great if your team got stuck in a rut like K-Corp did. It can bring morale high, and ultimately, though, there's an issue of execution with these. You can't rely on these kinds of strategies every game once you get into a scenario like playoffs, and this doesn't change the fact that there are many windows with which you'll be able to find openings into Victor, Jinx, and Gangplank. It's up to them, really, if they give it to you or not. Cabochard, however, he has found that before in the Lee Sin. We talked about that a lot. We should also mention that this is one of Sarkin's mains.
Woolite is going to get chunked out here pretty heavily, down to about 30% HP. No follow-up needed here for KC. The chunk onto the 80 carry should result in the Dragon going over. I have to imagine this will be uncontested, and that looks like that will be the call for Misfits.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for K-Corp to prioritize these drakes. I think it's better for Misfits not to prioritize these drakes at all. They just need to focus on getting economy and being able to contest K-Corp on the 4th drake, right? We're a long way away from that. They should use that time. Don't let K-Corp accelerate the game anymore. Try to play away from them because you have very, very strong carries. Don't make it as simple as burst a Jinx, win the game, like we saw earlier. It doesn't have to be that simple against Misfits. So I think they should just keep playing measured here. Don't fall into these kinds of baits. Just keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, like, Sarkin is on one of his mains here of LeBlanc as well. This was very classically banned away from him even last split with a completely different K-Corp lineup. So I think this plays to a lot of their strengths. But don't expect the game to be over fast. This isn't going to be a 25-minute win. This is going to come back to bite me probably. But this isn't going to be a 25-minute win. There are a lot of options for Misfits to stall out the game, and if they stall out enough, they are still going to be very, very, very competitive, short of an utterly insane team fight from one of Cabochard or Sarkin.
Woolite now 2 items strong, still ahead of Reckless, but credit to Reckless for farming back up and getting pretty close to what was, a 30-35 CS deficit in the laning phase. So now that things are a lot more unlocked and the side lanes are basically completely open from all of the tier 1s, we'll start to see what the lane assignments are looking like as Sagan is going to come back down to the bot side. Looks like we're going to get a reset here for Shayak. He might be going back to see if he can work on this second item here as well. But 20 minutes in the game. Baron, of course, going to be live. No other neutral objectives to really fight over, but Misfits just going to keep 3 members strong in the mid lane, and now 4 to see if they can try to put some pressure on the mid lane tower.
I just love, you have a lot of build options with Gangplank, and we've chosen the one with the most effective HP. I understand, looking at how the game's going, why we have decided on that irrelevance, but still, damage it will do later on. Victor, about to be onto his Rabadons. He's the only AP threat on his team, so it's unlikely to be against much MR. Good decision by him. We'll see if Misfits give them a window here.
KC, Cabochard with the kick! What a play! Finds Woolite, tries to cleanse, but now Vander also in some trouble. Saken does invest the flash, but it's the stopwatch from Vander that allows him to live. However, big pick here from Cabo.
Yeah, now I remember. This is flashbacks to the EU Masters where Cabochard's Lee Sin consistently found things as well.
Oh, Cheyenne, get another one for Cabochard, completely on fire. And now that both carries are completely eliminated, this very well might be a Baron call. I imagine Cabochard's about the TP back.
Yeah, that has blown the game wide open there. Cabo, he did the geometry, he found it. We were saying earlier, Woolite's been getting a lot of the advantages. It will a lot depend on his play. He gave Cabochard those few seconds, and Cabochard capitalized, and that translated into a second kill as well for K-Corp, with Shayak left wide open. Looks like the game's heavily in their favor.
I mean, Saken and Cabochard, they're kind of 2v3ing right now. Vander is very low. Saken on the other side of the screen will be able to get out to safety. The Baron, though, still going to be a little bit low. Irrelevant trying to make his play. 1-1-3 is down. No jungler here for the side of K-Corp. And now Misfits are feeling like they can make the play on the Baron.
Oh my god, Irrelevant was just stood in front of 3 of them for the whole fight, dodging everything that he could, being a menace until it translated into something, and then they denied them recalls as well. Oh, Sarkin finding something?
Almost. He almost had access to the R there too. It was like a second from being up.
Yeah, but K-Corp, they have to retreat, and sure, you can say Misfits Premier, they also have to back off this Baron, but that means the game has stalled just that little bit longer. And in this, oh, well, we're starting the fight from here, I guess. Here you're going to see the geometry coming in from Cabochard. Things parallel to Woolite, but look at this. Vander just not as fast as Cabochard was. Woolite just that little bit too parallel with Tinks, too far on the other side of him, and it immediately translates into a kill for Cabo. That's why we like to see him on these kind of playmaking champions. That's why I like to see him with agency, and that's why it was a good decision by the Pathfinder. But Shayak, he's now alone here. Probably shouldn't have stayed up for so long, should have just waited for the wave to come in. Sarkin's turn then to see that, capitalize on it. That sets up the second kill from Cabochard, but that kill was set up by Sarkin on this very comfortable LeBlanc.
Looking strong right now for the side of K-Corp. Having a lot of the last couple of kills go on to the important carries. Reckless picking up one, Saken as well. Item power spikes starting to come in here for us. We take a look at some of the damage that's been here, and Saken and Cabochard at the top here. Irrelevant's been able to fight back a little bit with all the dives that came in, so he's also near the top of the leaderboards there for us. But now we're starting to see Misfits move in. Vander's going to back up his jungler, starting to take away a bit of this vision, but this dragon is going to be spawning. This would be the third one here and put KC on sole point if they're able to get it, and that's going to be 1-1-3 starting it up.
Yep. I mean, I agree with them not to contest this. They're trying to get more economy on the Jinx, but given how the last fight went, you have to know there's no more room for another error like that. No more mispositioning can come from the ADC. No mispositioning can come from the mid lane, and we have to play these fights just a little bit better than that, and then the Jinx can pop off, then the Victor can pop off, and the Lee Sin won't find these opportunities. We can't afford to take any more risks if we are Misfits Premier here, because we've seen that next time it's not going to be a tier 2, it's not going to be a tier 1. The base will break from that. K-Corp's composition definitely doesn't have that many options at this stage of the game, but they've shown its strength if they get an option for even a couple of seconds.
And now Deathcap will be locked in here for Shayak. He'll be ready to dish out the damage. to a lot of the members here on the side of KC. Grouping up as 4, while they got Irrelevant here on the side lane, has access to that ultimate if needed, will actually invest the Mega Death Rocket, as well as a blue ward here. They use it at the same time, funny enough, so basically accomplishes the exact same thing. So Woolite now not going to have access to the ultimate for a little bit. Shayak is stepping up. Huntera's waiting in the brush, but there is a Vander behind him, so he'll be able to provide the lantern back to safety.
I both love and despise Fresh. Love it when it's on my team, despise it when it's on the enemy. Basically gives all their low mobility champions a dash, and Lord knows they need it to reposition against this team. 1-1-3, going a bit ham, but he should ultimately be fine. Ultimate down from him. That's a pretty big cooldown.
Yeah, not having that caressing guard certainly going to hurt you a little bit here, especially if they decide to go back to this Baron and start it up. But Irrelevant realizes, okay, nothing's really happening right now. My team is stabilizing. They're holding their lives. I'm going to try to get this bottom wave shoved in. Someone eventually will have to respond to it. We'll see if that will be Cabochard. Of course, he does have the teleport available to get back to his team. And I think that is going to be the map movement here for KC. But maybe a pivot over to Tinks. Was just a chain that comes in. But again, Vander with the lantern, keeping everyone safe.
If they win this game, this Fresh is MVP. There are so many potentially sticky situations he gets them out of, and so many situations that Misfits Premier's team would not be allowed to get themselves into if it were not for this Fresh. Gives them a little bit more safety, a little bit more map control, a little bit more time, and time is crucial.
Tinks fighting over the pink ward. 1-1-3 still applying the pressure, and they're just trying to keep Misfits just in this jungle quadrant right now, in this mid lane. If they want to step in, they're going to have to face check. And face checking a LeBlanc, face checking an Aphelios here with a Leona could be a little bit dangerous. Now Cabochard, it's his turn to start getting some pressure down into this bot lane. This, of course, will be matched here from Irrelevant. So both of the solo laners on the top side just kind of going back and forth. But Cabo, he will be the first one to move. He could maybe look at burning this TP from Irrelevant because he will be slightly behind if Cabochard can get here and maybe look for some kind of a flank play.
But Misfits also know, and it's been revealed as well to the audience, their Baron is not that fast. Look how long this takes. It's not like they can just start it up and sneak it very easily. Misfits are going to have a lot of time.
TP's in, Irrelevant.
Here we go.
He's going to be coming into the fight, taken from the side, looking for an angle to poke them out. Huntera will be able to flash in. Woolite, no mana, will be able to escape for now. Cataclysmic comes out here from Tinks, but they're able to find one. Shayak with a big kill, and now one back for Reckless. But Reckless is chunked out of the fight, has to run away. 1-1-3, the jungler, gonna set up the Baron here for Misfits, as he'll also end up dropping. And Misfits, they find the 1-for-2, and will now look at the Nash.
Right, as we were talking about how difficult it is for K-Corp to just start up the Baron, they actually do start it, and in doing so, that spread them thin. Huntera was off alone. Oh, gets a kill. Sarkin gets a kill on the
Cabo, the kick! The Dragon Rage sends Vander into the team, and Cabochard finds another Woolite down. Shayak has to limp away from the fight. Back and forth we go. Sakin feels like he might be able to go in one more time for the pop, and the electrocute finds the kill on the Shayak for the late ace.
Now K-Corp have the time to do the Baron, but if all Misfits did was just accept the kills and realize they don't have to do this themselves, they don't have to risk it, they might have actually had an advantage there. K-Corp, they spread themselves thin on that Baron. It wasn't a straight 5-on-5. A reset was able to be gotten on Jinx, but they made the decision to do the Baron themselves, even though the big solo lane threats of K-Corp was still up. We're going to see that here. Yeah, starting from this particular point, you can see Sarkin just looking for it. He knows he has the damage to pop at least one of them. Now it's a 3 versus 3. Cabochard has a clean angle here. Gets the kick, gets the knock-up, gets the damage down on Woolite. Now Shayak gets burst. If the cooldowns come back up on Cabochard or Sarkin, it's going to be death for him. Sarkin's just waiting for his cooldowns. He knows the guy's probably around here. Fishes him, finds him immediately, picks up the kill, and now there's all the time in the world for you to do Baron without splitting up the team. We talked about this Cloud Soul. This Cloud Soul is critical. Jinx Vixer, though, they're very far away from it. Doesn't look like Tinks will get the steal. This is the best situation K-Corp could ask for.
Oh, you just said it. And Irrelevant now. Probably going to be going down for sure. It's just a matter of who gets the kill, and Cabochard says, thank you very much. Kill number 8 is mine. Pick now on the top winner means 45 seconds without him. 5 versus 4. Baron in play. KC continuing to put on the pressure.
Yeah, this has been a very scrappy game so far from both teams, but I feel like those scraps are going to become fewer and further between. Now with that Baron, K-Corp can just split the map. We talked about the strength of LeBlanc and Lee Sin in these side lane situations. They're playing heavily around LeBlanc right now, but they can pressure 2 lanes with this Baron if they so decide. They drop Lee Sin there, and they rotate LeBlanc into jungle. Tinks gets caught.
Oh, he's dead. He's dead, but the chain connects. Oh, the stopwatch. The stopwatch comes in, and Tinks, he gets a sign of relief and gets to walk away. This LeBlanc is going to be in his dreams tonight here, causing nightmares. I mean, this has been brutal to watch Tinks walk up here, try to get some kind of vision down, try to get any kind of control. He's not allowed. And now KC knocking on the door, but they have it on the map for quite a while. They are sitting on a good amount of gold, I have to imagine here. Good barrel comes out. Hanterra throws out the ultimate, but it's not going to lead to a whole lot. And KC realized very quickly, okay, we're going to have to back up. But Seiken, however, he's got other plans, and that's why, because he has the ability to pop anyone at any given moment.
Yeah, Vander almost just gets completely deleted there. You're seeing the anti-shield technology come out from LeBlanc and paying dividends against Vander's Lantern, but also you're seeing the strength of Gangplank installing against these Baron situations. Cabochard has to try to burst him, but now the heavy HP build, Bruiser build from the Gangplank comes into play as well. So Misfits have even further options to stall. We said this wouldn't be a 25-minute one, and now with both Soul and Baron, we're seeing K-Corp continue to struggle to just close this game out.
Mid lane, though, will be able to get some damage in. Tinks wants to start up the fight, but it's instead going to be him that drops. Misfits now without one of their key members. 1-1-3, jumped down to half, but will be fine. KC finally get that window to break open the base, and it might be for 2 inhibitors as Gabo sets up the bot wave.
Yeah, the bigger damage there was done onto Woolite. He was a quarter HP by the time we looked up there, but with Woolite threat down, that was definitely a lot more impactful. Vander just dies.
Vander's dead. They're all dying. Yeah. It's the KC show. I mean, they are taking over. Cabochard might end up dropping. So there is still a chance to play some base defense. Excited now will be Woolite. Can they turn this fight around? KC realized, all right, we're not going to push for the end, but they have taken more than needed to set themselves up for the dub. And Seiken, of course, is still looking for kills. Woolite will have to back away. That was 2 Qs there, veteran, almost completely annihilating Woolite.
That's about the HP Woolite was on when we last looked at him, so I guess mystery solved. We know where the damage came from, but it's still difficult for K-Corp to just straight end, but they are constantly finding these isolated scenarios, getting the pops that they need. You can see, though, with a couple of adaptations, you could play against K-Corp even on these kinds of setups, so Misfits can still learn a lot from this game, though ultimately, I feel like K-Corp are just going to be able to eventually close this out.
Oh, maybe a pick on Seiken. He does have to flash. So at least able to get key summoner here out of the mid laner on KC. But it's a mid lane tower that goes down. Hanterra on the flank will set it up here with the ultimate. But as you said, Cabo looking for Woolite. There's the kick, the delivery of the Eddie carry. And now Karmine Corp, they get to press forward. It's a double for Reckless. 3 players remaining here for Misfits Premier. Cabo does not hit the Sonic Wave, but the slow chase will commence. Everyone having to escape, running, retreating to the base. And now KC, they can look for the end here with a numbers advantage.
Cabochard flanked all the way from the fork on Red Bush. He teleported into a ward that was previously placed there, and then ran all the way up to Woolite and just kicked him to death and probably ended the game with it.
First tower is down. Tinks is going to go in. Big Cataclysm, but no follow-up. One more play from Cabochard. Irrelevant gets one back, but it's just the support. KC are strong. There's still 4 in the base, and they will